Hey there, it's Steve from Serious Keto, and this is the Not So Serious Keto video podcast. We're going to start this one off, since it's pretty much a new month right here, with 24 and 21. So for those of you not familiar with 24 and 21, it's my little take on New Year's resolutions. Instead of having one big resolution that most people, or at least I, wind up failing at, I decided instead to break each month down to just two little resolutions or goals. One positive that I want to add and one negative that I want to get rid of. Some of these I've done a better job sticking with than others. Some I tried, like the Wim Hof breathing, and just didn't feel it really impacted me at all, so I stopped. But for the most part, the goal is to establish these habits and stick with them. So for me, for the month of July, my positive is I will every day read at least one chapter of a book, nonfiction, just to try and improve my brain, get smarter. The negative that I want to get rid of is when I get uptight because something is broken, which is pretty much all the time in my house. Pretty much every single day, something is winding up on my honey-do list because it needs fixing or replacing or something like that. It could be something electronic, it could be an appliance, it could be the internet quit working, it could be the cord on the blinds broke. Every single day, it's something. And my first reaction usually is one of irritation and frustration, and that adds nothing to me getting it done. So for July, the goal will be to just sort of mentally put myself already into the state where it's fixed. And then all I need to do is go through the motions to get me from where it's not fixed to fixed. I hope that kind of made sense. So if you've been playing along with 24 and 21, now it's your turn. Let me know, how did things go for you in June, and what are your goals for July? A few months ago, I had told you about how my son and I both replaced our 3 or 4-year-old iPhones and got new iPhones, and how the AT&T guy, when he came over, we got talking about keto, and he told me that his doctor told him that he shouldn't do keto because he's a type 2 diabetic. Remember that? Well, Connor and I were supposed to get some sort of trade-in value on our old phones, and it wasn't showing up, so I called AT&T to find out, how am I going to get this trade-in? Is it going to be applied monthly? Am I going to get some sort of a gift card? What? And as I got talking to the AT&T rep, he asked what I do for a living, and I said, well, I'm a YouTube content creator. I've got a channel, a keto cooking channel. And he said, oh, really? I did keto and I lost, I forget how much weight. He said 30, 40 pounds. But then I got bored with it. It felt too restrictive. The recipes weren't any fun. Using a piece of lettuce as a hamburger bun, that sort of thing. And I said, well, maybe you should check out Serious Keto, because one of the reasons I created the channel was I wanted keto to be fun and interesting and sustainable by creating recipes that are fun and interesting and tasty, and that help us overcome those urges that we had, those cravings for the stuff like pasta and rice and bread and things like that. So he said, awesome, I'll check it out. So kind of cool. I'd mentioned in a podcast, I don't know if it was the last one or the one before it, about how when we got talking about ads and how I don't do promos. I get an awful lot of opportunities to do promos. So these are basically, the ad is me talking. I'll be saying something like, this episode is brought to you by AT&T and the Apple iPhone, or something like that. Or you just have the product in the background where people can see it. And I had some viewers say, well, why don't you do that? That would be easy money. And the reason is, it would have to be a product that I really believe in, that I use regularly, whether I'm on camera or not. And there's just, I'm trying to figure out if there's many of those. The one that comes to mind is Dash. I think I own every Dash mini product there is. And I actually reached out to Dash. I sent a message to their customer service. It took them a month to get back to me, but the response was positive, and they said that they would forward it to their marketing people. So who knows when I'll hear from them or if I'll hear from them. But that's one that I could see doing. I wouldn't be putting a dash in every video, but for the videos where I do use a dash product, it would be nice to get a little something something for it. So stay tuned. I'll let you know how things go with that. I'm certainly not going to turn it into like a full-out commercial inside the video though, so no worries there. Sort of along the lines of promos is my relationship with Amazon. And one of the things that I wish I would have done or knew how to do is the whole fulfillment by Amazon thing, where a person buys a bunch of product from China or wherever and then warehouses it, I think, with Amazon, and then it's like my storefront. So it would have been brilliant of me to buy a bunch of those plunger whisks, for example. Buy, 1,000 of them, 2,000 of them. Because what's happening is I recommend or use a product and then I link to it on Amazon, and then either it sells out very rapidly or sellers wind up jacking up the price. A big example of this was the Pogo Whisk. This really, I mentioned it last week. I think it's just predatory. I got mine for, I believe, $18. Before they ran out of stock on it last week, the seller had jacked the price up to $50. It was $40 at the time of last week's podcast. $50 for a whisk. It's insane. I found a comparable whisk. It looked like the same design, the same sturdy handle and all that for $5. And I linked to that, and that sold out almost instantly. Then for the tortilla, I had those silicone cake rounds. Those sold out. So I linked to another set, and those sold out. So I apologize to the folks that have been trying to get some of the gadgets or things that I use and either find them sold out or find the price insanely inflated. I just want you to know that's not me. I wish I had more control over that. Now I suspect that this is going to be a shorter podcast this week, so I'm going to insert a brief little ad break, possibly here. It depends. You may see it, you may not. Be back in a second. So, have you seen the price of beef lately? Wow. I feel sorry for the carnivore folks out there right now because, man, have the prices gone up. I went to Costco last week and I was going to buy the 6-pack of the boneless beef short ribs that I use for making, I think it's the cola braised short rib recipe. I think that's what it is. If it is, I'll link to it right up here. Really great Instant Pot recipe. Love it. And 6-pack of ribs, $53. Unbelievable. So we aren't going to be eating that tonight. I don't know if it has anything to do with the hacking that occurred of that beef processing company a few weeks ago, but yeah, the prices are just out of control. Fortunately, the day that I saw that they had gotten hacked, went out to Costco and bought a pretty much freezer full worth of various beef parts, except short ribs. That's one thing that I forgot. I haven't noticed if the prices are also up on things like pork and chicken and lamb and other protein sources, but definitely beef. And this is one of those situations where, in a rare situation, where I actually had the foresight to get out in front of something, and I'm glad I did. The final topic for this shortened podcast this week is Courtney. She graduates from her advanced individual training in the Army on Thursday. So the wife and I are flying down to Gulfport, Mississippi on Wednesday and flying back on Friday. Now, what that means for the sake of the channel is the videos that I post on Wednesday and Friday, which I haven't filmed yet, and I don't know exactly what they're going to be at this moment. I got to bang those out pronto. But I probably won't be very active at all in the comments Wednesday through Friday, just so you know. It'll likely be limited to me just giving thumbs up and hearts, maybe the occasional brief reply, just because I'll be on my phone. And I'm not that into typing on my phone. Plus, that was one of those things, the negative that I wanted to get rid of in my 24 for 21 from last month was replying to comments on my phone. So just be aware, if you don't get a response from me on a comment that you make over the next handful of days, it's because I'm sort of out of pocket, off the grid, spending time with the family. But back to Courtney. She is, I think, pretty homesick. I mean, she texts us multiple times a day and FaceTimes. You can tell she wants to get home. This morning it was, I think, 6:30 in the morning. Wife and I were still asleep, and she texts us. She's like, 5 days and so many hours and I'll be home. So she's excited to be home. We're excited to have her home, and she'll start showing up in some videos. And I know a lot of you have asked when she's going to be back, when she'll be back in some videos. So you may start seeing her in videos as soon as next week. So there you go. In terms of last week's Easter egg, it was I don't know if this is a baby Bugs Bunny. Let me see here. The tag says Baby Looney Tunes. So I thought this was just a regular Bugs Bunny. I didn't differentiate between bugs and baby bugs. So everyone that said that they saw baby bugs on the stool behind me last week, you are correct. Baby bugs. We're starting to run out of toys though. And I hope my wife doesn't see this and think that that's an excuse to buy more toys for Colton. But it's getting harder and harder every week for me to figure out something to put on that stool behind me. I'll go as long as I can though. So like I said, shorter podcast this week. There's a pretty good chance that next week I will be doing another co-podcast with Dennis from Black Tie Kitchen. And I'm not sure how many more not so serious keto video podcasts there'll be before I shift the podcast over to my other channel, Lean Body Mind. So I'll let you know when it's coming so you don't wind up missing anything. That's it. Thanks for watching or listening.